Hello everybody, it's the Midlands Outdoors. Welcome back to another video today. What a beautiful morning. You can just see the Stourbridge canal what goes all the way to the top. So we've come down to the section where it splits off to the Staffordshire and Worcestershire canal. We're going to be going all the way to Kidderminster today, which is one bit that I've never done. I've only got to a certain point before where the Kinver railway was and ended the video there. So we are going to be going even further. So here we are, you can just see the section Stourbridge, Birmingham, Wolverhampton, which goes all the way that way. That is actually a future video what we're going to be doing. Going to be taking that route and going really far up to there. So that's the route that I've just come from, which is the Stourbridge canal. It's really lovely. You've got some certain sections up there. On my channel, if you go further back a bit, you might find a video of the Stourbridge canal. If you've never seen it, go and check it out. This is the bit where we're heading, is right away down, going under the Stourton bridge, then past the Stewponey, then all the way down. I might tell you a bit of information about the Kinver railway that used to go all the way across, so we'll cover a bit of history in this video. But I'll tell you what, I'm so glad it's a really nice day today. So I've got 2 days off work, 2 in the line, and I chose the best day for this. There is a little bit of wind, but it's not so bad. But let's get into the video and enjoy. So here we are, a bit of information on the Staffordshire and Worcestershire canal. So if I just scroll down, the date of the act was the 14th of May 1766. The date of the first use was 1772. Wow, this is really dating back a bit. I know parts of the canal down Kidderminster really dates old. I will tell you a bit of history when I get down to there. So it says here the starting point is the River Severn, the end point is the Trent and Mersey Canal. Scrolling all the way down, there's a lot of history behind it. So it says here, it mentions about James Brindley was the chief engineer of the canal. The canal was completed in 1771 for a cost that exceeded the authorised capital and opened to trade in 1772. It was a commercial success with the trade from the Staffordshire potteries southwards to Gloucester and Bristol, and trade from the Black Country northwards to the potteries via junction with the Birmingham Canal. So there is quite lots of information beyond the Staffordshire and Worcestershire Canal. I'll drop a link in the description, so if you're very interested in reading about it, then definitely go and check it out. Let's go and head down the canal and see what's to offer. So right, here we are, just heading under the Stourton bridge. It does look really old. I can imagine this bridge really does date back a bit. And then just further a little in front is the Stewponey. I'll tell you a bit of information about it. So here we are, this is the Stewponey. I believe it's one of these buildings right around the corner. I mean, when I look at the building, it does look really old. I think it got rebuilt at a certain date. So it does say here, Stewponey was a public house and Foley Arms Hotel stood at the centre of Stourton at the junction of the A449 and Stourbridge bound A458. Immediately adjacent to the locks and bridges. It was rebuilt in the 1930s. I thought it was because I did see a bit of information in the past about that and how it was actually rebuilt. It featured an outdoor swimming pool. So it replaced an 18th century inn which was much smaller and outdated, but it's known to have existed in 1744. There we go, you can imagine how far it really does date back to the original building, to the rebuilding which you can see today, which is really quite cool. But I mean, just viewing all the way down, if I just walk slightly to the corner, you can just see it's got very old architecture, and on the bottom by the door, I can just read it, it says Stewponey Wharf. Then you've got some outbuildings, then you've got another little building right away to the back, some extensions. But it's really cool to see that. You can imagine you get quite a lot of old stuff across the canal lines, especially these ones, because they really do date back a bit. You've seen the dates at the start when I mentioned the history about it. So here we are, this is actually another interesting section that I want to show you. This is actually Dunsley Tunnel. Just walking slightly right away through, you can just see the architecture, all the old brick. We've got some modern brick right away here supporting something. But coming all the way through, what's cool about it, you can just see the original digging of the tunnel right away through. It's like some sort of like sandstone, you can see right away there. But what I love about it is that, the architecture going all the way through. It's a cool looking tunnel, this one is. I really do love seeing this every time I pass through to the Staffordshire and Worcestershire canal to go all the way down. So I've just come to the other side of the Dunsley tunnel. You can just see up there zooming in, it says Dunsley number 31 and it says tunnel right away at the bottom. Cool architecture with the original sidings at this end. But I've got a bit of information here to tell you about it. So it does say Dunsley Tunnel on the Staffordshire and Worcestershire Canal was one of the earliest built in any British canal, about 1772. Wow, look at the date of that. It is only 23 yards long and unusual for a tunnel of its age as it has a towpath. But you can imagine with towpaths, as I've told you before, the black country industries had started expanding. The need for barges to go up and down, the towpaths were needed for the horses to drag the barges up and down. You can imagine in the 1700s, I'm unsure what the industrial revolution was like then, whether there was much industry or the need to drag barges up and down in those days. Don't know how it happened back then, but it's quite interesting. But yeah, let's go and journey further on. Just round the corner in a minute is actually where the Kinver Railway actually went. So here it is, this is believed where the Kinver Railway went all the way through, somewhere into the woodland, right away at the back. There is quite a lot of history behind this one. I've been told by a lovely subscriber who was just walking down the canal, there's a shack in there somewhere and a very old wheel right away next to it in some parts, what possibly could have been from the Kinver Railway. I found tracking there, I walked in there quite a while ago. But it's really cool to see that there is still history lurking within the depths of this woodland right away at the back. So the Kinver Railway operated a passenger and freight tramway service between Amblecote and Kinver in South Staffordshire between 1901 and 1930. So the line opened on the 4th of April 1901. It closed on the 1st of March 1930. So it no longer exists, apart from some of the remains what you possibly could find far into the woodland. So the Kinver Railway was a subsidiary of British Electric Traction. They acquired the Dudley and Stourbridge Steam Tramways Company in April 1898 and applied to the Light Railway Commissioners in preference to the Tramways Act in 1870 for permission to build a tramway from Ambercote to Kinver. The tramway was a single track with passing places. The route ran from the outside the Fish Inn at Ambercote, where it had a connection with the Dudley, Stourbridge and District Electric Traction Company tracks. After passing Wollaston and Stourton, it arrived in Kinver. From Ambercote to Wollaston Ridge, it ran on the streets using conventional grooved rail. Passenger service started on the 4th of April 1901. The company was taken over by the Dudley, Stourbridge and District Electric Traction Company in 1902 for the sum of £60,000. So the services finished on the 8th of February 1930, a victim of competition from motor bus traffic, and the final closure took place on the 1st of March 1930. So it's really cool to see a bit of information about the Kinver Light Railway. Just imagine for one moment when it passed all the way through here alongside the canal going all the way to Kinver, which Kinver's only right away behind, not too far. But there is lots of information on this canal line, I really do love it. But you can just see, just panning all the way around, the canal section here is really beautiful. You see you've got the canal what snakes all the way around, and you've got the trees and the fields right away into the distance. What a lovely sight for the canal section on the Staffordshire and Worcestershire canal. I just really do love canals. There's something about them, they're really special. It's really nice that we've got things like this, what you can actually see, and able to walk all the way along and endless routes to go to. So here we are, we've made it slightly. You can just see right away in front, if I just zoom in, you've got the church right away in Kinver, just at the top. It does date really old, that church, and the one we're going to is right away in Cookley. Well, I just noticed it's passing under another small tunnel at the moment. Check out this. Wow, nice little passage. But here we are, we've come further. That was really cool coming through there. I think Kinver is right away over there, so if I would have turned off and gone that way, you could go all the way over to Kinver section, but where we want to get to is Cookley, so I might have to get Google Maps up and see how far it actually is. So pretty much this is the furthest I've ever gone. I haven't even gone even further than this on the zinc e-bike what I had before, so it's really cool to see new sections of canal what I've never explored. But I think you've got the River Stour what actually joins up the side somewhere. I've only just noticed it earlier on. It's in the Stour on the edge and I forgot about that. You have the River Stour what joins all the way across and goes all the way to Kidderminster. Then from Kidderminster all the way to Stourport to the Severn. But right, there's the River Stour right away down there on the edge, so it actually joins along the canal but snakes round in several sections going all this way. So I'm going to get Google Maps up now and see how far we actually are, see how far it is to Cookley. So right, I've just had a look, we've got to go to Whittingham, then to Cornsall, from Cornsall all the way to Cookley. Here we are, I think we've made it to Whittingham, because you can just see here, Whittingham Horsebridge, right the way there, really cool. It does look like this one once more, dates really old, you can tell by the architecture of the brick going all the way down. How cool is that? And then you can just see we've got some really old houses. Can you see by the chimneys sticking right away up? But nice little section to the canal, this one, once more, with an old bridge. So I'm probably guessing 1800s when this bridge was actually constructed, by the way it is, with all the brick right around to the corners. I really do love the old bridges, they're really cool to look at. So right, coming further into countryside now, we're coming out of Whittingham. We should be heading to Council. So it should be a little bit further on now. We've got some nice sections of the canal once more. Still into the countryside, as you can just see. But Council is another place that I've actually been to. I've only walked a certain section of the Council area on the canal. I haven't really gone too far onto it. You see, it's just really beautiful down this end. Tons of woodland on the sides and loads of houses onto the canal. So I must say, one of my dreams is to live in a house like that on the canal section. Just imagine opening your doors, going all the way, you can just walk the canal, get your bike out, go far in the canals. No worries of roads either, that's what I love about it. But it's just really cool, just imagine it for one moment though, living in a house like that. But usually when you come to locks, there's usually paths that go right around underneath. This one goes all the way around. So yeah, this is the bottom end. This is Whittingham number 27 bridge. You can just see where it goes in, where the barges go that way, then it goes up to the next lock. Really cool architecture. Once more, that's possibly dating to the 1800s brick style. Some of these bridges across the countryside date so old. I might actually do a bit of research and see how old it actually is when I get home. So right, I'm just going to take a little bit of a break, but you can just see at the moment by the River Stour. It's a really stunning sight in the distance. You've got all the woodlands right away at the back. Wow, what a view. So right, I've just found out on Google Maps where we are at the moment. We're halfway to Council and Cookley, so we're nearly there. I'm probably not going to film as much now, so I'm going to meet you at Cookley Church because I've only got 69% on the battery and I want to try and preserve it to film for church and also get to Kidderminster to show you much history down there once more. So let's go and journey on and meet you at the church. But what a lovely sight, I've just been having a bit of a rest, doing a bit of research once more, and I will tell you about Cookley at the church as well. But yeah, let's go and journey on. So right, here we are, St Peter's Church in Cookley. Let's go and explore it. Wow, so here is Cookley Church. This is absolutely stunning. You can see by the architecture right away to the top. It's really tall up and you've got your stained glass windows on each corner, just zooming in to show you. It's really stunning. You've got your stained glass window right away at the back where the bell tower sits up the top. Wow, that is really stunning. You've got your back stained glass window on this corner. Just noticed this, it says St Peter's Sunday School, so it must really date back a bit. I'll tell you what a really beautiful church. It's some really stunning architecture in here. I just love with this church, the ceiling, how tall it goes right away to the top. The stained glass window at the back, it's got some nice colours coming all the way through there with the light beaming all the way through. Just pan around to show you one more time. I tell you what, that is just really beautiful. That's one reason why I love coming to churches, to see things like this, and especially the architecture like right away above on the ceiling. It's just really stunning. So yeah, you can imagine there's quite a lot of history behind this church. I've just seen a very old photo. You see that one there, that's on the side. There's quite a lot of old books once more, and some more photos just onto the corner. Really cool. So a bit of history, it says the name Cookley was originally Cornan Cliff, a place for which there is a Saxon charter with a boundary clause covering a substantial part of the northern part of the parish of Worthley and Cookley. The medieval village of Cookley lay on the opposite side of the River Stour to the present village next to Cornsall. So I will drop a link in the description if you're interested in reading about the history. But back to Cookley Forge, it says right the way here, found this really interesting. The works at Cookley were closed and relocated to the Cookley Works at Brockmore near Brawley Hill in 1886. Bit of Black Country history there. The site of the forge has remained in industrial use, at one period being occupied by Steel Stampings Limited. So yeah, if you want to read a bit of history on this, which is really interesting, I'll drop it in the description. Go down to the link and definitely give it a read after this video. It's quite fascinating. The stuff on there, what really does date back, is amazing. Right, just having a little bit of a rest, just enjoying the views of a church once more, just right away in front of me. I'm now going to be heading back to the canal line now and heading all the way to Kidderminster. So I'm not going to film all the route, so what I will do when I get to Kidderminster now, I'm going to show you a bit of history by the church on the board, which is really interesting. There is quite a lot of old bridges down that way, so I might show you a couple before we get to there, but let's go and journey on. We've got a lot of filming to do once more. And the battery on my thing now is only on 40%, so I need to try and preserve as much as I can. So there we go, out of Cookley now. Right the way there, we've got more industry along the canal line. Quite a lot of big industry over here, stretching all the way across. Then the canal where we're heading is right the way in front, just over to there. Snakes all the way around, and now it goes all the way to Kidderminster. So I think it goes all the way down past the Sainsbury's, then into the town centre. So there is a bit of history there that I actually want to show you. Imagine back in the old days, Kidderminster was well known for the carpet industry. Let's go and check it out. So right, just some interesting stuff. Let's see if we can get across to show you. But we just need to get to there. There we go. I've actually just found some caves, but look at this lock all the way down. It's very steep down. The caves are literally right the way here. Wow. Hello? Very dark in here. And the caves stretch right away to the back, and even to the back corners here. I've been to some caves before, went to the ones down on Stourton by the River Severn, but these are so cool. How awesome's that? Just found this on the Staffordshire and Worcestershire canal. So if you are interested in seeing this, it's actually by Debdale Lock as you're coming down towards Kidderminster. Well, that is awesome. There we go, it says over there, Debdale Lock. It is quite a steep lock going all the way down. So right, let's carefully get back over. You can just see what you've got to get over on. Carefully on this. And a big leap just back over to the other side. And there we go. And there is quite a lot of old houses down here once more, just along the canal side. Well, that's really cool seeing that. So right, off we go to Kidderminster now. It's really lovely to see those caves. But not far to go, let's just keep journeying on. Right, just a quick update from where we are. We've just passed Wolverley Forge Bridge. I don't think there's too much longer to go, but this canal section is really stunning. It's more open into the countryside now. You can just see it goes further more down, just past some more sandstone wall. It's a nice section to the canal. There's quite a lot of wildlife down here. I've seen quite a lot of birds flying from treetops down the back area. There is like a little lane just up to there. I've seen someone cycling it. But I can't believe how much mileage I've really done today. This is the furthest I've ever been on a bike ride, I'll tell you. I mean, my old bike, the Zinc, it wouldn't even go this far, but that thing is a real beast. Once more, I'll drop a link in the description if you want to go and check out the Staffordshire Komodo bike. It's really perfect for things like this. And one more just view of it for you. You can just the bike onto the corner. Let's see how much battery we've actually got on this. You're not going to believe this. But check out that, we've got 91% and we're near Kidderminster, so how far can this bike really go? We've come a long distance. It's just awesome. So like I say, I don't know what I'll do without it, to be honest, because imagine walking it to get all the way here. I'd be absolutely cream crackered, I tell you. And especially when you've got to walk all the way back, it's just not good. Probably could do it, but it's put yourself to the challenge to do it, really. But it's really warming up at the moment. It's getting so much warmer, and this is days what I'm expecting to get, because I've got my holiday up in the next couple of weeks or so, so I'm hoping I can get off for more walks. I've got some really cool things planned for you guys, so I hope you do stay tuned in. Don't miss these videos upcoming, because you're really going to enjoy them. So they're going to be similar videos to the Debdale, so I'm going to go and do a walk to Frankly. I think it's a walk to Frankly Beaches I'm doing actually, and it's going to be covering some certain train line sections once more on the way, so stay tuned for that. So right, time for a bit of dinner and we'll head back off, but let's soak up a bit of sunshine. It's been a while since it's been like this, so let's enjoy. So here we are, we're by the Lock-in pub, which is right away down to the bottom onto the corner. Just noticed something really interesting, in case you find this quite fascinating. There's a bit of history here. So I just noticed a bit of black country history of this. I'm not too sure, meaning Lapple, whether that meant the Lapple Canal, but it's got onto there T&S Elements Limited, steerage and haulage contractors, Birmingham and Aldbury. That is really interesting, and the word on there, Lapple, which is quite cool. So whether the word Lapple is referring to the Lapple Canal, which is by me in Halzone, which is no longer there. That is quite interesting. Drop it in the comments if you think that's what that is on the side of the boat. A bit of history there. So I've just come to the back of the lock pub. We've got Wolverley number 20 bridge just right away behind me. I've actually come under another tunnel similar to the one at Stewponey, which goes right away underneath and up to the next section. It's really quite cool, and that one as well must date really far back a bit. But let's go and cycle on. Kidderminster's only around the corner now. So here we are on the final bike ride now to Kidderminster. This is the last sections of the countryside areas that you will probably see before we come into the town centre parts in a little while. There is some nice areas down the area by Kidderminster on the canal line. Imagine back in those days, a lot of industry was really prosperous down here. Like I mentioned, the carpet factories, much more along the canal sections. It's just really nice. I've really enjoyed this bike ride. It's probably been the best one that I've done in a long time. Enjoying all the views and scenery. It's just been like this all the way down. Wow. So yeah, see you in Kidderminster now, and we'll meet you by the church where there is quite a bit of history on the sign. Here we are guys, I've made it. I'm absolutely cream crackered. I've actually cycled half of it without the electric, to tell the truth. It really does you some good. I feel absolutely knackered. I can just see right away in front Kidderminster. There's the range, we've got a church right away in the distance, but the main church, what I want to show you, is back round the canal. As you go into the main road junctions, it's just right away there. It tells you a bit of history. But it's really lovely across here. You can imagine there's quite a lot of industry where all these new houses were built onto the corners here. You've got the Stour what flows right away down the bottom and goes all the way around. It's a nice little section this canal line is. I mean, how far I've come is really amazing, so I'm glad you've enjoyed it. If you have, then please drop a like for this, because it is a really long journey. I've got to go all the way back yet. Here we are, this is the church right away in front, which is really quite cool. Wow, this canal section here really does date back a bit. You can just see there's a really old crane right the way there sticking out. We've got the church, got the bell tower going right away to the top. And there actually used to be, if you look on this corner here, a clock used to be faced right the way there, but it's been removed. That is an awesome sight, that is. I can imagine it's really nice in there. I've never been in that church. I don't know what times it's actually open or when it's actually open. But there's lots of information. There's a history board round there, so if I can go round, I'll tell you a bit of history about this canal section just onto the corner. So right, here's the history. The canal, James Brindley's 1772 masterpiece. Lots of information here. So we've got a map of the canal from where we've come from, all the way up from where Stourbridge was. It's an absolute long distance, but I'll tell you what, it was a really brilliant bike ride that was. I really enjoyed it. Quite a lot of old industry what was once here in the past, so I can imagine all this works what you see here at the moment on the photos was right the way. That's actually what is a very old crane right away at the back. It says here, when completed in 1772, the canal had 31 locks, 4 large aqueducts, 3 tunnels and over 100 bridges. Brindley died just a few weeks later at the age of 56. So I can imagine he was really great at engineering stuff for the canal lines. This is why we've got the canals the way they are today. But it's a really beautiful section, the canal at Kidderminster. It says here, the canal company, a canal fever swept England and the Black Country was quickly caught up in it. In January 1766, a meeting was held at the house of the Red Lion in Wolverhampton, and the Staffordshire and Worcestershire Canal Company was formed with the aim of building a 46-mile canal there joining the River Severn with the planned Trent Mersey Canal at Great Haywood. It says there Brindley was hired as engineer, surveyed and engineered personally by Brindley, riding his famous grey mare. The Stourton to Wolverhampton section passing through Kidderminster with its growing carpet industry opened in 1771. Another old photo there, so you can just sort of see it dating really back a bit. Lots of interesting information, and that is really quite cool, showing all the map of the canal section going all the way down. So right, as you may know, Kidderminster was very famous for the carpet industry and much more. You can imagine all over several places down here, there's quite a lot of carpet factories. There is one just at the back which is actually derelict and not being used. It's a shame to see things actually going like that, quite a lot of old places. There is lots of interesting information and things around Kidderminster itself. We've got churches, very old historic buildings. There's one place that I really do love to visit from time to time. I might actually do a video at some point, go around Kidderminster and show you the churches and all the history once more. But you'll see we've got the church right away behind me. That is one church. When we come on foot, if we get a bus down to here, I might see if it's actually open sometime. I'm not going to do it today, but it looks really lovely. But there's the clock on this side. So as I may have showed you earlier, there was a clock missing on that side onto the corner, which you can just see. But there is a big massive clock right away to the top. It is interesting, if anybody knows any information behind that, then drop it into the comments. I can imagine there was a bit of information behind it. Lovely patterns right away at the top and some stunning architecture at the very top of the bell tower. I just really need a good rest because I've got a big journey back home now. But if you've really enjoyed this video, then definitely smash the like, hit the subscribe button because it's been a really long journey. I can't wait to get out more and do more videos like these. So we've got some walking videos planned, even much more. But thank you very much, the Midlands Outdoors. See you soon, take care, and see you on the next one.